Hello. Okay, I've shuffled around the videos slightly from, my original order, but not terribly. And of course, it's football day, so hopefully maybe people will see this one after the game or, in the near future. I wanted to do the Truman videos kind of sooner than later since that's kind of a topic of discussion now, as we all know. Um, what I'll be doing logger boots again this week, probably. And I wanted to space out some of the videos, as I said in a previous video, so people have a chance to go back and watch some of the earlier videos, but they don't seem to be watching any of the earlier videos. They mostly just want to see apparently boot videos, so fine. We still have more boot videos to come. Not a problem. Now, in the previous Truman video, and maybe I'll leave this in a comment back there, I had said that I might upgrade the gray Esmonda from having this style of sole to a more hiking style of sole. I probably won't. That was a mistake. What I meant to say was that this current style of sole is the one I might upgrade. So the unveiling, yes, I got the Evergreen Cheaha, if I'm pronouncing that at all correctly. And it has, just to go straight to the sole, pun intended. This is more of a traditional, original worker sole or an Army 1942 sole ish. And so obviously this is, strictly light walking and warehouse kind of sole. Whereas, this style of sole, this isn't their boot, but you're only seeing this sole, so it doesn't really matter. This a tiny bit more attraction, maybe not much at all, but neither a hiking sole being the point. Again, another boot that turned around. I will totally baby for at least a while until it needs a resole, and then at that point it might be scuffed up enough. I haven't decided yet. I'm going to get into more specifics about the boot. I haven't decided yet if I would put a logger heel stack on this one just to get a little bit more of that contrast. But as I said back in the Captain video, or the possibly also the Thorogood video, I wasn't actually on the market for a heavy duty cap toe boot at all. That's why I didn't investigate the Red Wing Iron Rangers. I've never bought cap toe boots before because I typically don't need anything quite that rugged. I like the look of it, but I don't always like the look of it. Like half or 3/4 of my outfits and clothing are green. So the idea that I don't have a decent pair of green boots, I think I showed green boots back in the first or second video, those, or maybe it was the third boot video, those really not true hiking. They were more of a fashion boot that I used as a hiking boot, and they were kind of a green brown combo that didn't look terrible, but there wasn't real leather, I don't think, and a different shade of green, more of an army kind of green. So, yada yada yada. So yeah, green boots are not exactly a new thing for me. I've had them in the past, and not necessarily something I would want to wear with regular clothes, I guess, for lack of a better. And this isn't supposed to be a comparison one-to-one video either, but as long as we're talking about the Captain, again, the cap toe on here is just made to look like a cap toe. It's not a real cap toe. The lugs here are decent, but not super aggressive. I'll be talking about this more again in the following week when I'm talking about logging boots more in depth. So we'll come back to him. We won't spend the entire episode trying to compare this boot to those boots because yeah, same as what I said about the gray Esmonda. I think that the leather is going to be a little thicker, a little nicer. The construction down here, now we're talking about you know, what I hope, you know, is a real leather welt, not a plastic welt. Although, whoops, I'm a little on the fence about. I should look up. The Oliver Cabell might actually have a leather welt, whereas the Thorogoods do not. Accidents happen. The boot fell down. Big deal. So the title card that they send, it says, these boots were made for, working and hiking and wandering and, that kind of thing. That's good, but they're also a little pricey for me to do, work in them right away. They're pricey for me to go hiking right away. It's something I'm going to have to talk about a lot more in the logger video. What he, in Roseanneville, he was saying, there's class 1 hikes, there's class 2 hikes, and there's class 3 hikes. I do mostly class 2 hikes. Sometimes, a class 1, I guess we can call it a hike. That's technically more of a nature walk. And then a class 3 hike is a little bit more than I usually need to do just to get, a nice little workout or whatever. That's for not necessarily just overnight camping kind of purposes, but you have to have the whole day to really do a lot of kind of class 3. It's not the kind of thing you can do in 2 hours and then just drive home typically, unless you have a specific place that's near you that is. So what I would be doing class 1 hiking with this is what I'm saying, at least in the short term. Again, didn't want to spend the extra to get the taller. In fact, in this particular green, they didn't even offer the taller anymore. I don't know if they did at one point. The rough out version is offered in the taller, and I don't really like the look of rough out boots. So I had to go with the shorter. The good thing about this one is I had already gotten a pair of their boots, so I wasn't flying blind. So I knew they ran true to size. So I wasn't going through all the rigmarole of some of these other brands, which is what I was complaining about in the previous video about the logger boots. It's if you want me to buy your boots and you want me to pay more than $400, make the sizing consistent or at least easier to figure out. Not calculus problems. So yeah, like I said, I didn't have an issue worrying about the sizing, which for me again comes back to the fit. Is that going to be the issue? I don't care if your boots are the greatest quality ever for only a couple $100. If they are a terrible fit, they're a terrible fit. Not going to sugarcoat that. And so, from what I've seen of this, again, I think the fit is fine. But for a class 2 or 3 hike, I usually want a little more wiggle room up front. So technically, I'm buying boots that are maybe a little bit bigger than my actual size. If I plan to do actual hiking where I know I have to go downhill, this one probably not going to have that much wiggle room. Probably, again, more of a heritage boot. Bought it more to be a fitted boot. Bought it more to be a social looking kind of thing. They came with, I guess, tan laces to complement the tan kind of toe, or not toe, but the welt and the heel. Not super crazy about them. I have a pair of black ones floating around here somewhere that I don't know where they went. That's driving me crazy. They came with a darker brown lace with the gray Asmonda, but I'm still not entirely crazy about that color with this either. And then, of course, they included the rawhide, which I put the rawhide in the other ones, but would not really care for that with this color because I think this is going to distract from the look of the shoe instead of add to it, just because I want kind of that. I think the tan is just too light, and I don't know who has decent dark green laces. Kind of not a typical necessarily boot lace color that I'm familiar with. Like I said, I should be able to find a pair of black ones and some old army boots or something and just swap them out and live with it. So yeah, I don't know what else to really talk about here. I mean, this is already 10 minutes. I do have a slideshow. I'm just as curious as the rest of you if now these took 2 months to get, so I don't know if they had already implemented their new building strategies, or if I'm one of the chumps that got the old style that aren't as good, or whatever. What's supposed to be the difference? I don't know. I'll be just as eager as the rest of you to see them cut up in half and sliced and diced and find out what's actually in them. Apart from, they look nice. They feel like leather insoles on top of a leather, like I said, so I don't know what else is hidden in here that I would need to worry about, or how comfortable they'll be before they're broken in. Compared to, I assume there's no foam in this. I don't know. I don't know if that I always worry about that, because maybe I got the last of the good ones and now they're cutting corners and raising the price like most products. I don't know. We'll find out in the near future, and I mean, hopefully be doing an update on these after they've been worn a bit anyway. So, like I said, I think I have a little bit of a slideshow here, and that should be that for now.